morning, you guys. I'm gonna sing us a little song here.
When you're down in trouble and you need a helping hand, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? When people can be so cold, they'll hurt you and they'll desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. No, no. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend.
Let's boogie on. Here we go. Here's one we do called God Is My Source to get us going. How is everybody? Cool.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Welcome those of you joining us online. Good to have you in the house on the Love Stream. I'm joined today by Reverend Kathy Lyons, who is also our animal kinship minister, as well as one of our staff ministers, longtime staff minister here. And so it's good to be with you. It's good to be with anyone these days. After my trip to Ireland, it's good to be back. You'll hear a little bit about that when we get going here this morning. And of course, this place is the Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living. My name's Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow now, and the senior minister here in Granada Hills, which is in the North San Fernando Valley. a place where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So with that little intro, we'll get underway by taking a deep, conscious breath together, both here and at home. And just release. And in that release, just allow ourselves to set aside the worldly clamors and be here now. As we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Kathy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in the sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. So as Reverend Kathy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own souls. There is one flame, one light within.
Join me, please, as I speak in the I am for everyone here and online. As I recognize there is this one flame, this one spirit, this one life, which is my life and God's life right now. And that God is that peace and harmony and love. And I am one with God's peace, harmony, and love as I feel that flame within. So I emanate all the wonderful things of life, of harmony, peace, love, and I feel that love in this very room and anywhere that I may be watching, and knowing that this service today is a perfect idea in the mind of God, that love is expressed through everyone here. And I am so grateful right now, so grateful for this wonderful center, for Reverend Mike, for everyone here participating and online in that love stream, knowing that love stream just expresses through me right now, and I'm so grateful for that. So I now release my word to the law. I know it is done, I know it is so, and together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Good morning, everyone. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or on that love stream online. And I'd like to share Ernest Holmes' description of sin. There is no sin but a mistake, no punishment but a consequence. And that comes from the textbook on page 633, but it's actually, I believe, originally said by Emerson. And in this and what this means, in this teaching, we're not born with we don't believe we're born with some original sin where we have to spend our lives redeeming ourselves so we don't go to hell, or that if we do something that we're going to go to hell or experience the wrath of God. That isn't what we teach, but we do teach about consequences. Of course, I've experienced consequences. I remember last year, I wasn't looking into that little screen on my dashboard when I was backing out of my garage, and I bumped bumpers with the guy whose garage was backing out, and I had the consequences of my insurance going up. God wasn't punishing me. That was just something I wasn't paying attention, and so there were consequences. And I survived. And of course, there's extreme cases. If somebody commits a crime, they may experience legal consequences. There's that popular show, Law and Order, that seems to be on every night on some channel. They're reruns. But in most cases, I think about some of the little sins, the little mistakes, and I'm not punished for it, but I have known that I often punish myself more than anybody else. There's not some God punishing us, but how many people have ever punished themselves over things? For instance, one time, too, another consequence I had was I didn't pay attention. I had a plumbing problem in my bathtub, and I didn't call a plumber right away, and I had the consequences of water leaking into my garage. That was a consequence, and I did go through like, why didn't I go back and call the plumber? But now I know better. And I was reflecting recently about some of the things, some habit patterns I have that I feel like I do need to change. And I was kind of getting down on myself about it. I mean, I've lived all these years, 70 years, and I still have some habit patterns. I should have my life all together by now. But then I got to thinking about my life, how many good habits I have, how many things I've done that I do feel good about, that I know have served others well. And so I decided to do another new practice. Actually, somebody had taught this to me years ago, to write down 10 things that I feel good about myself. And I think this is important because to think about all the good things I've done, the good habits I have, instead of dwelling on what I think are my shortcomings. And it's not that I don't want to maybe correct other habits I have, but the more I dwell on what I'm doing wrong, what happens, that our thinking, how thoughts are things, and I'm going to probably keep repeating that same pattern. So I encourage everybody, start writing 10 things every day that you feel good about yourself. Because it's better to focus on what we want than what we don't want. David Walker, who was a minister of religious science for many years, and he made his transition quite a few years ago, he used to say, "What am I thinking?" Or "I am thinking, what am I thinking? Am I willing to have the consequences, accept the consequences of my thinking?" So that whole idea of a consequence, not only in our physical actions, but in our thinking, that's the most important thing. Ernest Holmes says on page 620 of the textbook, positive and negative thinking are merely two ways of using the same mind through the power of self-choice. So today, I choose the positive, and so it is.
Good morning, you guys.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. And when the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. Yeah, I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. I know there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. No, you ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, could make your dreams come true. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. Go to the ends of the earth for you, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few announcements for the week. If you would like prayer support, you can contact a practitioner online at CSLGH.org. Today, the Zoom fellowship is at 11:45, facilitated by Reverend Jessica Fish. Coming up, a course in weight loss, Monday, August 8th, that's tomorrow, 12 o'clock p.m., and that's online. Ladies Spiritual Spa, Wednesday, August 10th, 9:30 a.m., and that's in person, and it's facilitated by Reverend Nicole. She's here today. And Spiritual Unity Movement, this is their new home. Thursday, August 11th, here in the sanctuary. Dina Efferson Williams will be the guest speaker, and it's $15 suggested donation. Law of Attraction Group is Sunday, August 14th, online at 1 o'clock. Healing Support Group, Sunday, August 14th, online. And membership, would you like to win friends and influence people? Join us. You can become a member and share your wonderfulness with the world. Fill out an application today. Thank you. That's our announcements. And now, let's stand for our Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul, forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
This one you guys can join me on here. This is a new song. It's very easy. I'll do it first, then you guys can join in. Perfect health.
I am perfect health. I am perfect health. I am perfect health. I am one with God.
Now beautiful.
Beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am one with God.
Back to
God.
Good work. Sounds great.
Thanks, Jason. We like the simple ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but deep, right? Right? So that's one we can take into the week with us and put to good use. Excuse me. So it's good to be back. For those of you who may not know, I've been in Ireland for just for a couple of weeks. So it's good to be back home. I want to thank Reverend Nicole. And yeah, let's give her some love for doing a great job. And she got her first taste of doing both services. How was that, by the way?
It was fun.
No pressure, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. And then we had, of course, Reverend Nancy was here holding down the fort and speaking for the first services, so that Reverend Dr. Sue Rubin and Dr. Maureen could be here to speak with us. So I'm just very grateful to them, and I'm grateful to you guys for making it possible for me to go away and to have guest speakers. And I'm sure it's probably nice for you too to hear another perspective on things. Actually, I really like all those speakers, so that's why I picked them. So it's good to be home. It was an adventure back on the old sod, to be sure. We had a very touching experience, both the family and the village that my mother has been laid to rest. We took her ashes back to the family plot there in Ackle Sound. And I took my Uncle Jimmy. I got to tell you, those ashes are heavy, man. I had them in a backpack, right? So anyway, we got him back to Leitrim and got him settled as well. And so we had this wonderful experience with Ireland, and it was very touching. Unfortunately, I also had a touching experience with COVID-19 as well while I was there. And there's nothing like spending $5,000 to catch COVID in a foreign country, I'm just saying. And I don't recommend it, by the way. And so I have to say, I tell myself after months of feeling pretty Spartan about the virus, I do recommend now wearing your mask in crowded areas because the only thing worse than catching COVID, which even isn't that big a deal right now, at least with this strain, the only thing worse than catching the bug is passing it on to others, particularly folks that you care about. And this particular strain is not a killer, which is great because I'm glad to be here. But it does continue to impact the entire world. And when you get outside of the country, you really see the effect of COVID because the United States has actually done a pretty good job keeping everybody healthy, even though sometimes it doesn't sound like it. And so, so it's just affecting things beyond our day-to-day experience. And there's a lot of things about our life. I don't know that Americans really appreciate the life of privilege that we have compared to other countries. When we get outside of our boundaries, we get to experience that. That's one of the great things about traveling, and that there is this thing going on out in the world beyond our own borders, beyond our own day-to-day experience. And so this month's theme, of course, we are... our annual theme, so for those of you who are new to me, right, new faces to me, we have an annual theme that we're working with this year, which we pulled out of, we're working with, oh, someone took my copy. We're working with the Science of Mind 365, and so that's, I think it actually in my desk. And so we're working with Resurrect, Rebirth, and Renew in 2022. And so the theme for this month is vitality, and isn't that perfect, right? So we're emerging out of this latest little surge with this current variant. The curve is bending, and so LA County is emerging out of this thing, which is nice. And so this idea, it's good to remember that a part of living life and living a life of vitality is also for Reverend Mike, to remember that you don't have to get sick in order to take some time off, right? Or to practice self-care, right? And for those of us who are still working, that we don't have to wait for retirement to start living either. Now, a vital part of radiant good health, of course, is the practice of regularly taking a time to just simply pause, to be present to what is, to detach from any judgment, which is not always easy around that, to be present with it, and to make time, to take time, and to do this daily. And that it's not necessary to travel 5,000 miles to take a break. Now, vitality, what does the word vitality mean? So it comes from the root vitalis, which is Latin. So for those of you, I don't know if there's many of you, I remember Vitalis was like a hair tonic back in the day when we actually used such things. But the word vitality, the state of being strong and active, energetic. Synonyms are liveliness, life, energy, animation, spirit, spiritedness, exuberance, vivacity. Don't you like that word? Vivacity. Buoyancy. I love this idea of buoyancy, right? That I'm floating in this ocean of consciousness, of God consciousness. Buoyancy. Verve. Zest, which is right out of Unity. Charles Fillmore loved that word, zest. Feistiness. The other definition that they offered up, the power of giving continuance of life present in all living things. As in the vitality of seeds. Which I love this metaphor also, because every thought that we have is a seed thought. And those seed thoughts that have the most vitality and energy in them and behind them are the ones that get anchored into this divine substance from which all of life is emerging and demonstrating. So by these definitions, then, we can say that vitality, then, is an aspect of the divine, and even more than that, in the human realm, it's a demonstration. It's a demonstration of the living spirit as you, as me, as all of life, and everyone else too. That's the one that I trip over. Oh yeah, everyone else is an expression of this life too. So Ernest Holmes writes in the 365 today, in very fine print apparently, that the vitality of God is self-existent, self-propelling. As I become conscious of my oneness with good, I am filled with enthusiasm and a sense of energy and vitality. Right? Even the word enthusiasm has God in it, right? So in theosism, right? Theos, the Greek root for God. So there's a lot of juiciness in that expression. He also says there is a vitality in our communion with the infinite, which is productive of the highest good. So these are the opening quotes that we have in this month of August, which is a month of vitality. Now, I don't know what your experience is, but I have found that in the human condition, it's not always easy to feel that vitality. And I think that we would all agree that we would love to express our vitalness, even if it's just to kick it up a couple notches. And to do this, we often do what? Well, I don't know about you. I reach for coffee, right? Coffee's the big go-to. Or, there's also the Monster energy drinks. Now you can get a 5-hour energy drink. In fact, you can get those in 4, 5, 6 packs, right? So you don't ever have to run out. But these are, in fact, poor substitutes compared to connecting with the vitality of spirit expressing as our life. A poor substitute for, frankly, good nutrition and moving around and exercising a bit, right? To take care of this vessel for which the Spirit is inhabiting, right? Is cohabiting with us, right? We're shacking up with the Spirit right now. Right? Okay, I don't know if that sounded so good, but it was kind of fun to say. Should we find ourselves feeling kind of meh and want to feel some extra vitality, it's important to bring to the forefront of our thought that there is a consciousness of health and vitality that we are operating in, and that we must also cultivate that and maintain it in thought and in action. So let's know together right now that there is an aspect of the divine that is vital for our expression. That this vitality in our life is a living demonstration of the vitality of God consciousness, seeking expression in, through, and as life. All of life, in, through, and as our life. We are God consciousness in expression. Now, one of the things that helps me to reset this notion is to be in natural surroundings. No, nature does not consider how to express the vitality of life. It just does. Nature is the vitality of life expressing. And I prefer wild spaces. I need to check my thing here just a second. For me, I prefer the wild spaces. Now, this is a place called Belcoo outside of Leitrim, where my dad's family is from, one of many St. Patrick's Wells. And if you look over here, there's all kinds of mementos that people leave there. People have been gathering here for healing for centuries, right? Kind of cool. And when you have COVID in Ireland, you're pulling out all the stops, baby. I was over there. Yeah, let's see. Was it right hand? Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm just covering all the bases. Okay, Spirit, do your thing. All right. So nature does not consider how to express the vitality of life. It just does it. That nature is the vitality of life expressing. And as I said, I prefer the wild spaces. But the truth is, the vitality of life is all around us. Right? Even in this urban life experience or suburban life experience that we call life. So a dandelion pushing through the crack in a sidewalk, walking through a neighborhood smelling a fresh cut lawn, right? Back when we used to water our lawns. Or the scent of roses and jasmine. The scent of roses and jasmine, right? We have a kumquat bush in our front yard, which is blooming now. It's like olfactory ambrosia, man. It's wonderful. The setting of the sun, or even better, the stillness of the dawn. Or consciously taking a breath. Let's do that right now. So just exhale and inhale and feel the breath. Over the tongue, over the larynx, into the windpipe. Feel the lungs expand, and then feel the release. And then connect with the cascade of miracles contained within each breath. At an atomic level, even a subatomic level, there's this whole series, this whole cascading experience. And we're not even aware of it until we are. That it's life breathing life. And notice how bringing our awareness to breath, that one simple thing, bringing our awareness to breath, it can shift our whole countenance, and certainly can shift our whole countenance as an expression of life. Thoreau once wrote in Walden, "In eternity there is indeed something true and sublime. In eternity, there is indeed something true and sublime. But all these times and places and occasions are now and here. God itself culminates in the present moment and will never be more divine in the lapse of all the ages. So one of the things he's encouraging us to do in our own understanding of the divine, right, because he's painting very broad brushes of what that is, and encouraging us to consider and embrace our own experience of the divine, is to understand that one of the aspects of the divine is that it is the same as it was before the Big Bang to what it is right now. The only thing that's changing is its expression into form. Now, there are many things that are interesting about Ireland, besides beer, of course. And one of those things is that it is a country where the energetic of ancestry is everywhere. It's everywhere, man. There are graveyards, old, ancient graveyards everywhere. And not just ancestry from the 19th or even the 6th century, but evidence all around of the presence of people over thousands of years. And that vitality, that energetic, you can feel it, even over the centuries. And the attempt by ancient peoples to honor their dead. Not even an attempt. They did it, to honor their dead in simple ways, right? Stacking rocks. And so on the one hand, it seems so simple, right? But this is like 4 foot tall, right? You can't really get a sense of the scale. So on the one hand, it's such a simple thing to do, but then on the other hand, how the heck did they do that? Stone Age people, right? This is centuries before the Celts. No metal tools yet. And so, now I'm recovering from COVID. It's pretty, I have to say, I'm a pretty healthy guy. So it was only like a couple of days, really. But of course, I don't want to spread it around, have my own car. So I go up on this place called the Burren, which is an ancient burial site. These are called dolmens. They're scattered all over the place. So people coming to this area for centuries, millennia, really, and walking through these ancient burial sites, breathing in the very vitality of life, from ancient person to the forest and the bog, through the labor of others, through the centuries, to finally myself, breathing in a new vitality of life, the vitality of the divine expressing all around me, in, through, and as me, restoring me to perfect health. God as life, in, through, and as me. In the next moment, Gandalf stepped out from behind this wall. Doesn't it look very like Lord of the Rings? Right? Anyway, there are actually places in America like this too, if you go to the Northwest. But anyway, beautiful place. God as life, in, through, and as me. In, through, and as all of life. So there is a resonance, a vibration there that can't be denied. Now, for some, this may be a new way of thinking, right? Many people think of the Godhead as the great cosmic enforcer, or one who bestows cosmic favors, right, to stay free of sin, as Reverend Kathy was speaking to. Now, these are old, early Christian ideas, right? It's really from Augustine, 3rd century guy. But if you go back a century earlier in Alexandria from Origen, he was very much in alignment with this notion as a mystic Christian, as a bishop of the church, that God is in, through, and as everything, right? Aquinas was down with this as well, right? So I'm bringing this up as we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater if we come from other faith systems, because there's truth, universal truth in all of it. And you know, this way of seeing the world, it can actually work for a while if one believes in God at all, and many people today do not. And, you know, if the gods are in your favor, you may even feel blessed. But as one gets a few years under their belt and they take a few knocks from life, right, they may still feel connected to something greater than they are, and yet disconnected from the dogmatic systems associated with their ideas of God. And so questions like, if God is so good, then why does evil exist? Right? This is a good question. We struggle with it ourselves. I shouldn't say struggle, we wrestle with it ourselves in this teaching. And as science strips away mystery to provide explanations for conditions that were once seen as evil, and as we learn through science more about disease and plate tectonics and weather as science, where thunderbolts are now an activity of weather rather than Thor, right? Etc. We begin to see the world then as thinking people having this sense of connection with something greater than we are, and yet being trained in the sciences to the extent that we are, right? To think and to think about thinking, to consider the ways in which the divine shows up or not. We begin to see the world not as a result of appeasing a Godhead, for even the carpenter said, the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. So it's not about appeasing the Godhead, but rather the logical result of causes, many interrelated. So it's so funny you brought this subject up, Rev, so without talking about it together. So we see, you know, with observation, we see that there appears to be a law of cause and effect playing out in this thing called life, and that our life is a result of choices that we make. But the question then becomes, how would life be different if we invite that same intelligence, that first cause of the universe itself, releasing itself at the Big Bang, reformulating itself into various aspects of form until finally we arrive? And that we too think, we too speak our word. We too are a reflection of this thinking presence. We too can connect with this intelligence, the same intelligence that created all that is in the infinite and in the universal, making itself known in the finite as you and as me. And yet still within us, the capacity to access that. It's like the cosmic internet, and the only restriction is our own belief in it, right? So it's an infinite baud rate. Is that the download speed, guys in the back? Is that what it is, right? Renzen? Sure, he says. Okay. I'm just, you know, my tech is like from 2000, so I'm just checking. Right? But the only restriction then on our download is our belief in it. The carpenter put it in another way, but when he simply said, knock, and I shall enter. So there's The action step there is an allowing, a recognition, an allowing, a cultivation of our consciousness for receptivity. That we cultivate this idea that we can be one with first cause in our own expression of this law of cause and effect. And you know, this is the grand experiment that we call the science of mind and spirit. That God so loved the world that it created you in its image and likeness to have a greater expression of itself by means of the thing it creates, of all of life, and uniquely as you. Also, God expressing. Now, I find this a very powerful notion, which I contemplate daily with good results. And it's not accessed simply by the mind, but in a partnership, a conscious partnership with the heart. That it's love that infuses this law with a movement in thought that produces the logical result of that thought. This is the vitality within that seed thought of which we are releasing to this divine medium, calling forth a demonstration of life that supports not only our own life, but the lives of those around us, bound only by our belief in the power. So we want to use it. Use it. Demonstrate it to yourself. You know, don't just take this talking head's word for it. Play with it yourself. Demonstrate it yourself. And then trust it. Right? Ernest Holmes wrote this in the Science of Mind textbook on page 388. We should learn to trust life. There is no power in the universe which wishes anyone ill. That life is good and God is good. So why not accept this and begin to live? That no man need prepare to meet his God, because we are meeting the divine every day and every hour in the day. We meet it in the rising sun, in the flowing stream, in the budding rose, in the joy of friendship and love, and in the silence of our own soul. So let's take a breath on that. Invite Jason to come on up. So let's think about how we can cultivate some vitality today. Vivacity. Just think of ways that we can just push ourselves in movement within the body temple. To push ourselves in paying attention to the breath. Bringing an awareness of the life of God, the breath of the divine as our breath, that we are breathing it, it is breathing us. That we allow our minds to open just a little bit, just a couple of notches, for a divine download of life that is creative in nature, that has within it the vital seed thought of creativity. That is the answer to any seeming challenge. That our heart, that we allow it even to open just a little bit, to find the way back to those whom we care about. That maybe we've been locked up over something. To find ways of communicating with each other that have love and a seek to understand as their root. An awareness of life that knows that with God, all things are possible. Let's play around with that today. Take it into our working week, into our families, into our businesses. Then report back next week and see what changed.
You try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. And the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. And lights will guide you home and ignite. They'll ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Lights will guide, they'll guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. When the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when those tears come streaming down your face, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
I will fix you. I had a couple girlfriends like that over the years. Happy to say I'm not married to one now. All right, so we're going to take this moment to practice generosity, both at home and here in the center. If you've come prepared for a gift today, physically, and you would like to bring it forward, you can do that. Just wait for the basket to open up, and Jason will take us into our offering song.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
Nice. Let's see, am I on? Yeah? Keep playing with the button and I lose track. All right. So this basket represents the many ways in which your generosity finds itself here. So if you've given mailed checks in during the week, they're in here. Your gifts today obviously are here. So however you practice this generosity, just know that we are deeply grateful. And so this basket is a demonstration of a consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so it's also a representation of the heart of this spiritual community that now accept these gifts with deep love and gratitude, recognizing and knowing that these gifts go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only this center and but anyone connected to it in any way. That we extend a blessing of peace, of health, of harmony and prosperity on our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is an emanation from the very mind of the living Spirit in expression. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of power and grace that propel us into ways of spiritual living that raise our own gig and the gigs of those around us. And that's a good thing. And together, let's acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. And so let's thank Jason one more time for a job well done, as always.
Thank you.
You're a heck of a musician, my friend. And let's call Reverend Kathy up. And let's remember Terry Mosman and her family. Paul passed last week. And Marty Laff, who's in recovery. And Jason and Lily in their travels, that they stay strong and healthy and dodge the bug.
Thank you.
Okay, so join me, take a breath, and just envision yourself that you're in that beautiful scenery that Reverend Mike shared. And as I speak in the I am, I recognize this one power, this one life, which is God. And that God is love and health and vitality and energy and vim and vigor. And I am one with God, one with its love, health, vitality, vim, and vigor, and zest. So I hereby proclaim right now that I'm living a life where I'm vitally healthy, vitally strong, living a life that's active and long, and I just feel this divine vitality expressing through me, that I have enthusiasm, zest, buoyancy, and I feel so grateful and appreciative for this zest and health and vitality. And I give thanks that any member of our congregation with a health challenge, I know that just there's perfect health. I'm proclaiming and giving thanks for this right now. And so I release these words. I release them with deep love and gratitude that it's done, it is so, and together we say, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song.
Let that was meant to be. With God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.